Postseason is here on the PGA Tour. This week begins the FedExCup Playoffs at the St. Jude Championship in Memphis, Tennessee. And down there near Beale Street, it is Keith Stewart joining us here on this Tuesday on the early line on SportsGrid. Keith, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on TEL. We'll forecast the playoffs on the PGA Tour and look back on an Olympic golf weekend over in Paris and the final regular season event on the PGA Tour as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, boys, it's great to be with you on the early line. It was an awesome weekend for us on SportsGrid and Read the Line. We cashed little Lydia Ko plus 3,300 with gold. And then, of course, Aaron Rai with what a mess at Wyndham. The second round, the third round, and the fourth round almost got completed on Sunday, but it didn't matter. Rai plus 3,500. He brought home the cash. It's time to get into the playoffs, top 70, fighting for those top 50 spots. I'm down here in Memphis to break it all down.
We love it, Keith, and great job on those big plus money hits. So let's talk about the format of the FedEx Cup postseason and the playoffs that begin this week in Memphis. Can you outline the events for us and what each stage means as they progress through the postseason?
Well, Ben, we have 3 weeks coming up. Right now, we have the top 70 in the FedEx Cup point standings after the regular season, which ended on Monday. They're trying to get to Colorado for the BMW Championship, which is the top 50 players. The guys on the bubble, Will Zalatoris, Jake Knapp, they're sitting at 49 and 50. Harris English, he's 51. Outside the top 50, we have Victor Hovland, last year's FedEx Cup champion. We have Jordan Spieth outside the top 50. These guys are dying to get into that top 50 spot because that gives them signature status. Those elevated cash grab events that don't have cuts, you have to be inside the top 50 in order to earn a spot for those at the start of next year. And then the top 30 go from there, from the BMW to East Lake for the Tour Championship. We've got 3 weeks in a row, a ton of cash on the line, $20 million this week, $3.6 million for first. Let's have at it down here in the swamp of Memphis.
By the way, Keith, before we get to the championship that starts this weekend, it's a great format all the way through. I got to ask you just one quick question about the Wyndham Championship. We saw, Aaron Rai win. Max Grayserman, of course, he stumbles, but you can say, you know what, I'm going to go to sleep with $861,000 in my pocket. I think I'll be okay. What happened with Matt Kuchar? Why did he not finish out? And what was the talk around the town with him playing all by himself his final 3 shots on that last hole?
Well, those guys had been out there all day. Those guys specifically played 36 holes. And, Matt is one of those guys that is definitely a pro's pro. I mean, he is very much a stickler to what the rules are and what the officials are doing. He gets on 18. He did not know that the group was in front of him in the 18th fairway, and he ends up hitting into him. And when he does that and the officials did not tell him that the group was there, he was extremely frustrated. He was also very frustrated with his day. Don't forget, Matt Kuchar was one guy. He had played in all 17 FedEx Cup playoffs. And he needed a win in order to get in this year for 18 in a row. The only guy to ever do that. And he didn't get it done on Sunday. So you know that his frustration level was very, very high. And then he hits a bad drive there. He wasn't sure that the group was there. And then when he gets up there, they all gave him the option. They said, hey, you guys can stop if you want. And he said, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. He was very frustrated. And if you know Matt, then you know that once he's got something in his head, that's what he's doing. And to his credit, to further that point, he came out the next morning at 8 o'clock, and then he asked for relief for line of sight before he even hit a golf shot. I mean, this guy, you got to love it. I mean, if you're all in, push all the chips in. He finished the hole in 6 minutes. He made par, finished T12. It's really kind of irrelevant other than the fact that it helped the golf Twitter feed kind of push its way through. And thank goodness Aaron Rai was crowned on Sunday, and he didn't have to wait around for these shenanigans.
Matt Kuchar out there on the course yesterday. The PGA Tour announced that the final round was going to conclude, and then about 6 minutes later replied to their own tweet saying the final round of the Wyndham Championship is now done. It would be easy to take a cheap shot at Matt Kuchar, but we'll move on to the St. Jude Championship in Memphis. So, Keith, you beautifully laid out what the format of the FedEx Cup playoffs is going to look like over this 3-week stretch. How much are you factoring in motivation, not only at the top of the leaderboard, but to make the top 50 to play in the BMW Championship to your handicaps this week?
If I'm looking for, motivation, strokes gain motivation, the guys sitting from 70 to 50 are going to play extremely aggressive on this golf course. Remember, TPC Southwind, we know this golf course. It's been the St. Jude forever. It became a WGC in 2019, one of those world elite events. And then in 2022, it became a playoff event. Will Zalatoris won the first one over Sepp Straka in a playoff. And then, of course, Lucas Glover a year ago. The guys in the 70 to 50 range are going to be absolutely just firing at pins all day long. And I tell you what, I've seen the golf course and it's in perfect shape. And we're down here, the Bermuda grass rough is super dense and high. And of course, those Zoysia grass fairways are perfect for the approach game. Now remember, in order to play well at this golf course, par 70, it's treachery off the tee. I almost kind of call this place TPC Graceland. It's like a tourist trap, right? Stay out of trouble, stay out of, the water, stay out of the souvenir shop. Get yourself in place to hit these approach shots. And then, for the most part, these greens, we look at the guys that have won here. Zalatoris, Glover, JT, not the world's greatest putters. Get it on the green, get it close. You'll make some birdies, and you make a run at that top 50 because it is so important for next year's signature status.
Take a look here at the top of the leaderboard, at least odds-wise, at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Scotty Scheffler, once again, that favorite at a plus 330 price, followed by Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, Morikawa, Oberg, and also Cantlay. Who are we looking forward to this week in the field, Keith?
Well, I'll tell you what, those top three in the single digits, I'm not going to bet either of them. It's time for the early leans on the early line. We had Lydia Ko last week. We hit. How about a guy? I'm going to bring the Iceman down here where it's hot. Patrick Cantlay, plus 2,500. He was runner-up here last year, lost in a playoff. But, if there's a plotter's golf course guy and a playoff winner, this guy is your guy. He's been great on approach. He gained over 6 strokes over there at Royal Troon in difficult conditions, and his putter's been hot lately. The second guy, I'm going to bring you up a name. I wrote about him yesterday on Golf Digest, and that is JT. He's a regional guy. He's going to have tons of support here. He won here in 2020. Justin Thomas started the week at plus 5,000. He's already dropped 500. He's plus 4,500. Get on JT early. It's going to keep dropping because he's a horse for this course.
Keith Stewart, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the week of the St. Jude Championship in Memphis. We appreciate your time.